episode of Locked on Bulls. I'm CEO Haize. That is Pat the designer. On today's episode, we will be breaking down the Bulls' final game of the season as their season officially ends after a loss in Game 5 to the Milwaukee Bucks. We'll talk about all that and more on today's Locked on Bulls.
You are Locked on Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked on Bulls your first listen every day, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Pat, we expected it. It's not much other than to come from this. The Bulls season ends in a way that we kind of all expected, going down to the Milwaukee Bucks, getting blown out for the most part. There was some effort from a lot of players in this game, like seeing Io in transition in different parts of this game, but at the end of the day, what do you make of the season officially ending for the Chicago Bulls, Pat?
It sucks, right? But stepping in the right direction. You went up in a series against the defending world champions. I mean, coming into this, I said 4-2. I think you had said 4-1, so spot on your prediction there. The biggest thing for me to take away from this now is that you go into next season with Zach LaVine having playoff experience, with Ayo Dosunmu, who now, in a sense, has a step ahead of Alonzo Ball having playoff experience, with Patrick Williams not only having playoff experience, but having legit contribution in the playoffs and having that playoff experience, right?
Yeah.
Those are all good things to take into next season and understand. And the biggest thing, right, is kind of a culmination of everything. The things that got us beat at the end of the season, the things that got us beat in the playoffs in this series are things that, at a minimum, right, as a Bulls fan, I feel good about for once. Not to say you ever want to lose, but I know that I got two guys in the front office that are going to say, yo, we got to fix that. Yeah. Hey, we didn't shoot the ball well. Let's go get shooters. Hey, we didn't defend well on this part. Let's get better defenders here. Hey, we need more size, because when they put Bobby Portis, Giannis, and Brook Lopez out there, we didn't have an answer on the boards down there, minus Vooch, right? I like the spot where the Bulls are starting from. I like the position that the Bulls are in at the beginning of this thing. I think like it's going to be interesting to see what adjustments the Bulls make. But as a Bulls fan, this is the first season that I've left not feeling like, thank God it's over, but feeling like I can't wait to see what we add on to this.
Precisely. It's a season that leaves off is whatever, however it ended, it leaves off with probably more hope and optimism than we've had in quite a while. We have a front office that, if you look at the way that they turned the roster over just this season, without having a base of a playoff team and a solid foundation, you now have those things to build off on top of, and it's going to be even better and take it to new heights. Now, with the game itself, I want to talk a little bit about this game and what we saw in this game. Patrick Williams, 9 for 13 in this game, 4 for 7 from three-point range, 23 points in this game. Nikola Vucevic with 19 points, another cold game from DeMar DeRozan. The one thing that I do want to point out in this, and that I hope that the front office, again, this is all personal. I understand if the front office doesn't do this, or if other Bulls fans don't agree with this, but I think this playoff series and how the second half of the season has shown you is that you can't build your offense around DeMar DeRozan. Listen, what he's been doing in the fourth quarter, the king of the fourth this season, is amazing. The season he had was amazing. The fact that he lifted this team up at times when we had nothing else going was amazing. But when you have a player who is a 99.9% mid-range player and doesn't really, like, DeMar doesn't really even take it to the cup a lot. It's really just operating in the mid-range, getting to the elbows, getting to certain spots in the mid-range. When things get tight, when you know, when you get into playoff series, those type of things are easy to guard. Now, one would say that we didn't have Lonzo Ball. Zach LaVine was hobbled. Now we found out, and we'll talk about in the next segment, Zach LaVine's knee. But we found out today that while he was saying it was 80%, it was more like 50% at most of the time. So a lot of that makes sense And a lot of that will probably come around. But I really think and I hope this offseason that Billy Donovan, because he's still going to be the coach next season for the Bulls fans who question that they really look at unlocking Lonzo a little bit more, seeing what they can do with P. Will. P. Will's shot release needs to get a lot quicker if he's going to be a threat as well, and really developing those aspects of it. Because while we did depend on DeMar a lot, and I understand why, he was the veteran, he's the one that's been here before, he had the most experience. What we've seen in this playoff series and in the second half of the season is that you can't build your total offense around DeMar DeRozan. It's just not going to work if you want to have success in the playoffs. Go ahead.
I mean, it's tough, right? Because, like, of course, what we saw in the playoffs, I think DeMar just went up against the perfect team that could shut him down. But how much of it do we put on the fact that Zach was more injured than any of us really thought he was? And so DeMar had to take on more of that workload, taking worse shots because Zach LaVine's unable to do it. How much do we put on the fact that the injury issues were what they were? Caruso, again, Lonzo all season. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not to say that I disagree with you. I feel like DeMar, like, this season has shown me, like, you can definitely win games with DeMar. You can definitely be in the playoffs with DeMar. You can definitely be a legitimate competitor with DeMar. Yeah. But if you're going to take that next step, you need somebody else to allow DeMar to be that, not so much a novelty piece, but a, like you said, king of the fourth. Do that. But the best dynamic we saw between DeMar and Zach, right, was when we would watch Zach. Oh, Zach's cooking 1 through 3. And he's deferring to DeMar in the fourth quarter. Or Zach's cooking. Zach absolutely cooked the entire first half. Booch got himself going in the third. DeMar's killing the fourth. Like, I don't mind you being that closer. I don't mind you being that level of a piece. But I feel like there needs to be somebody where when DeMar gets in trouble, that guy's going to have his back and you can go to him. And maybe Zach LaVine was that guy. I think he was early in the season, but when we saw the injuries, we didn't see those moments as much. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of like how they even adjust the leadership role on this team. I'm intrigued as heck to see that, right? Like, if we go into next season, right, and DeMar's your number one, I don't know if you feel great about your chances going deep in the playoffs again. I don't know if you like if DeMar comes in and he's still the top dog on the team, do you feel like that's the best route for the Bulls to take to get a deep run into the playoffs?
No, that's what I was getting at. That's basically what I was getting at. Is like it can't be. And even the DeMar in the fourth quarter thing, teams like that worked at the beginning of the season when teams really this Bulls offense was still very much a unknown thing to most teams. As teams started figuring out what the Bulls are doing on offense, unless Billy Donovan is going to get super creative with this offense, I think again, offseason moves coming, and we'll see what that means and how that changes the outlook of this team. But as things stand right now, because I don't expect the starting five to change. I know some Bulls fans aren't going to like hearing that. I know some Bulls fans really want to see Vooch out there. I don't know if that's going to happen. But as of right now, if our starting five doesn't change, if our starting five does not change, I want to see, and I'm not a Ball family stan, but I want to see the offense run, like give Lonzo a chance to truly run this offense and use DeMar as a weapon, use Zach as a weapon, use Patrick Williams with hopefully a quicker release, because Patrick Williams already said he ain't got nothing to do this offseason but basketball. He has not had a full offseason yet. So shout out to that young man and the fact that he's already focused on that, because an offseason of Patrick Williams focusing on nothing but basketball, I can't wait to see what that looks like coming into next season. But I want to see Lonzo get more of a chance to not only run in transition, but to actually run the offense in more half-court sets than what we saw at the beginning of the season. Again, now that my opinion on that could very much change as offseason additions and different things happen for this team. But that's where I stand right now. And we need to get healthy. Zach, I know a lot of Bulls fans. Well, we'll talk about that. That's the next segment. We'll talk about Zach LaVine's knee. So I don't want to get ahead of our content, but go ahead.
But before we get to Zach LaVine's knee, I do want to ask you, right, like, what is the change that needs to happen for the Bulls? Is it go get a big name, or is it allow P. Will to be hopefully what AK believes he can be? Mm-hmm. Because I've said, like, you need that transcendent player.
Yeah, it's seeing if he can develop into that. I don't with Zach LaVine getting a contract extension this year. I know a lot of Bulls fans have their eyes on like Gobert, people like this, Donovan, whatever. Those are other players that are going to make $40 million a year. The Bulls right now are not going to spend that much money on a team that's not a surefire contender. So the Bulls' best bet is to see what Patrick Williams develop into and hope that he can develop into that player that AK and Eversley drafted him to be and see that and see him being at some point in time. And so, we'll see. It remains to be seen what he develops into. And I trusted Patrick Williams and what he's shown since he came back from injury has shown enough flashes where I think, like I said, an offseason focusing on just basketball, offseason being healthy. He's already talked about working with AC and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think Patrick Williams is going to come back locked and loaded, ready to go. And I can't wait to see that. But another player that we can't wait to see locked in, ready to go is Zach LaVine. And we have to talk about this reported offseason knee injury he's going to get. But first, I got to talk to you guys about BetOnline. BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. Find all your latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball playoffs and the start of the Major League Baseball season. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information, from live betting to playoffs to esports and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, Pat. Zach LaVine, Chicago Sun-Times, Joe Cowley, who we'll leave it at that.
JV with a dub.
JV with a dub.
Shout out to Joe. Good job breaking the story, brother.
Has officially reported that Zach LaVine's on track for offseason knee surgery. One of the things that to me that says that this is true is the fact that it's been all day now. Zach LaVine's camp nor the Bulls have denied anything.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Now, with that being said, I know some Bulls fans are extremely worried. What does this mean for Zach LaVine's future? It's not an ACL repair. It's not an MCL reattachment. It's not probably anything of that. It's a scope, probably cleaning out, things like that. The prognosis of that is not anything that's going to be long-term hampering. It's not going to be anything that hurts his athleticism. It's not even going to be anything that necessarily keeps him out for a long time. He has the COVID situation right now. So I've speculated it's probably going to be a couple of weeks before he goes under the knife. But if he goes under the knife by mid-May, Zach LaVine's going to be back ready for training camp. He's not going to miss any offseason time at all. What do you think about the news with Zach LaVine's offseason knee surgery?
We called it. We said, we literally said the second that basketball ends, you're going to see the report that Zach LaVine is having offseason knee surgery. The second basketball ended for Zach LaVine, the report came out by Joe Cowley that Zach LaVine is going to have offseason knee surgery. You could see it. He was visibly hampered. He was limping up and down the court. It was clearly causing him discomfort the entire season. If you read the article from Joe Cowley, it says he essentially told the media he was at 70 to 80%, but he was at 50% for based on what people told him that were close to him on a good day.
Yeah.
How many bad days were in there, right? How many days were there where we were all killing him like, yo, why is he not playing better? Why is he not taking over more? Why is he not doing more? The man couldn't run. Why is he missing? I mean, I'm going to be real with you. The biggest glaring thing that from Zach that I saw was when it came out that he was at 40 to 50%, right?
When I saw that, it was just like, hey, man.
I know I can't play defense no more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why is he not getting out on that play? Why is he not getting out to the corner on that? Oh, okay. Now it kind of makes more sense. If you cut real quick and get away from me, I'm not going to be able to keep up. So I'm not surprised by the news that Zach LaVine is having knee surgery at all. I'm not concerned by it. I mean, we've seen players get scope in season and be back in 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
I think maybe Zach, it's probably better for him, right, to have this scope now, don't you think? Because 4 or 5 weeks is because, hey, I got to get back for the playoffs, not because now with him having this in the offseason, I would think that he takes even longer just to get that thing fully back right, going through physical therapy, going through everything you got to go through and coming back 100% healthy. I would think that he gets that opportunity this offseason.
Yeah. And Zach is going to get the one thing that we've seen. Like, keep in mind, this man is a man who played 13 minutes after tearing his ACL, completely regained his athleticism after tearing his ACL, of not being a better athlete. Zach is going to be fine. The knee thing, I'm not worried. Like, long term, I've said it before. it may end up being that down the stretch, second half of the season, after the All-Star break, they start managing Zach's knee. They start saying, hey, this back-to-back, especially if the team's better and healthy, we got this, Zach. Go ahead and sit down. We're going to prepare you for the playoffs, and that's fine. But the thing that what Zach gave to this team, and that's why I really dislike when people talk about Zach's effort, because we already knew he was dealing with the knee injury. To now find out he was playing at more like 50% when he was saying that it was 70 or 80%. Come on, man. That's the type of heart you do want from a player. And I know we had people in the comments that had issue with you saying Zach was playing with the most heart on the team. Finding this out, how can you not say that? Or not see that Zach was playing with the most heart? Like, people get like, listen, I understand that we're sports fans. We very much so, we go off what's on the court. If we don't see it, it's like, hey, why isn't this happening? But reasons aren't excuses. And I hate when everybody tries to label everything as an excuse. To play on a bum knee, a knee that, because you wanted playoff experience. Zach has talked about it. He wanted this experience. Zach wanted to be able to play. He wanted to be out there with his guys. He knew what the injuries did to this team.
Yep.
Zach LaVine played with a lot of heart this season. Does he still have things he needs to improve on? Absolutely. That basketball IQ, listen, while Zach's knees down, I need him to be reading every basketball book and video that he possibly can. I need that to happen. But Zach, like, what Zach can mean on this team, and like I said before, people forget, and how quickly we forget, when Zach was fully healthy, which wasn't very long in the season because the thumb thing happened, 25 games into the season? Zach was close to a 50, 40, and 90 player. That is elite offensively. Now, that's not to take away from what he needs to do defensively and the growth that he needs there and the focus that he needs there. But to your point, when you have a knee, and we saw Zach over there in times where he's out, stretching that knee over there on the floor, laying on the floor. It's hard to cut. Like, defense is a lot of cutting. Defense is a lot of things like that. You need to have a solid base in your knees to do those type of things. And our backcourt, both having knee issues, coming back fully healthy next season, I can't wait to see.
It's gonna be a lot of fun next season, dog. Like, you think about it, 100% healthy Zach LaVine. What is that? Yeah. Like what can that be? That was an MVP level player if he's on a good team last season.
Bro, you saying MVP level?
Last season?
Zach LaVine MVP level?
If you look at his numbers, and you're talking about a good Chicago Bulls team with his numbers.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like the reason is that he's not in the conversation is because we were trash.
Yeah.
But if he's putting up those level of numbers and we're good and we're winning and we're in the playoffs, that's an MVP level player. You're talking about a player that not only is looked at as one of the best players on this team, but also one of the best players in the NBA. Now, whether he wins it or not, that's a whole different thing. Like, technically, DeMar had an MVP level season, but Joel Embiid. But it's gonna be so interesting to see the dynamic, and to me, right, like, the mentality of Zach. Like you said, I want him studying. I want the IQ better. I want the IQ higher. And he's working with players that have higher IQ. Alex Caruso been in the building. Lonzo Ball, 2 years into this thing. Think about how fun the beginning of the season was when guys were healthy. And now think about 2 years into this thing and they're all able to play together.
Yeah.
And they all understand what's going on. And they all understand how each other moves. Like, now take that into the next level. Adding playoff experience into that. Now you take that into the next level, right? So there's so many dynamics that are going to be layered on top of this going into next season, and I'm excited to see it, bro. I feel like this is a time where this is the beginning. I said on the breeze a couple of times today. Think about what Memphis did last season versus Utah. Got dog walked. One game won and then got dog walked the rest of the way. And think about how it affected that team moving forward. It changed everything they wanted to do. It changed where the team was. Also, Ja Morant got a heck of a lot better. But
most improved player in the season. Shout out to Ja Morant.
Shout out to Ja, man. Most improved player. There's a lot of people that disagree with it, but hey, it is what it is, man. But man, listen, going into this last segment, man, we got to talk about how we look at this season, right? I mean, got to break it down at some point. But even here, before we do that, I got to tell y'all about Rock Auto. Now, I've been telling y'all about Rock Auto, but this episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. And with the ever-increasing number of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. Why endure all the pointless, seemingly intimidating questions like, is your Odyssey an LX or an EX? And wait while the person behind the counter just starts click-clacking away, choosing only the brands that their warehouse carries. You got a computer, don't you? You got a cell phone in your pocket. You have access to rockauto.com. Here's the thing about Rock Auto, right? You're saving time, you're saving money. And why choose to spend 30 to 50, even 100% more for some of the same parts from a chain store or car dealership? Like, you can go get that same fuel pump for the Odyssey, $353 from a chain store, $216 at rockauto.com. They have everything you can need: brake parts, tail lamps, motor oil, even new carpet. Go explore their easy-to-use website today and find the solution for your auto part needs. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the available parts for your car or truck right locked on in there. How did you hear about us box so that they know we sent you? Amazing selection, reliably low prices at rockauto.com. Let's get into this last segment, my boy.
All right, man. Last segment for today. Bull season is officially over. The way that the season ended, man. What's your lasting takeaway from the season heading into? You kind of already have pulled it back and revealed a little bit of piecing together what you said over the first two segments. But let's just put it into the sentences, put it into words.
Yeah.
What's your takeaway from this season?
Growth. Growth. That's all I can hope for, right? We're 2 years into this. We're 2 years into AK. Jim Boylan was in our building 3 years ago.
Still getting paid, by the way, by the Chicago Bulls. Shout out to Boylan for getting that check.
Yeah, shout out to Boylan. But but I mean, honestly, like Antonio Blakeney was a possibility of being a great player for us. Remember that? Like, hey, if we just let him score, why won't they let him shoot the ball more? That's all he do.
Jesus, Antonio Blakeney. Jesus, you brought back so much trauma with that one. Thanks, Pat. Thank y'all. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Cristiano Felicio was making money for us.
Yes.
By the way, I still think he's the reason we lost those 2 games when he was sitting sideline at our game out here. But I mean, honestly, right? Like, that was 2 years ago. We are in a completely different place with a completely different team and a completely different dynamic, and we just got eliminated from the playoffs. I'm not saying that every season that's going to be acceptable, right? Now, what's the growth here? You got to get to the next round. Going into the next season, at a minimum, you got to get to the next round and be competitive in that round and hopefully get to an ECF. But continued growth. We've seen in 2 years what AK can put together. What does he put together in year 3? That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest takeaway from this season, that we grew in these 2 years, and we will continue to grow, hopefully moving in the right direction with AK at the helm.
We're going to keep moving, like you said, in the right direction. The fact that we have a front office now that we can trust. The fact that this season was always meant to be a season to get to the playoffs, to get to taste what that's like. It was never meant to be a championship season. And because of that, the Bulls accomplished what their goal was coming into the season. I know the way that the second half went, it sucks. I get it. It was depressing for a moment there. We went through dark times. I understand all of that. But what the Bulls' goal was coming into the season, they accomplished.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, they didn't re-sign Zach LaVine last offseason to improve the team, to use their last season really having true cap flexibility to improve this team to get it to this point, and then to re-sign Zach LaVine. That's what the season was always meant for. That's what they did with it, and shout out to them. They accomplished their goal. Now, while they accomplished one of their goals, the ultimate goal is to get to championship contention.
Yeah.
And because we have a front office that we can now trust to continually improve the team, I trust our ability to get there way more. You can give me this same exact team, the same exact result with Boylan and Garpax, and I would have been like, let's see how they mess this up this offseason.
Dog, It would it would have been so bad with them mugs, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would have been god awful with them mugs, man. Like that's why like I'm so excited coming into next season, and I'm so excited just based on what we saw. And I'm gonna be real with you. What excites me most, P. Will.
It's it's a lot to be excited with P. Will.
You all right, my boy? Yeah, he's choking you up a little bit
I'm
out
still
here.
I'm still sick. I'm still sick. Like people forget. Like I damn near lost 30 pounds in 12 days, my guy. Like I'm still sick. I'm still getting there. My lungs, my body's still building back up. But with that being said, super excited about P. Will's future. And just to think what P. Will's development would have been had he had a full season with this team.
A full season playing with DeMar.
The leaps that he made from game one of returning from injury to this last game in the playoffs. There's been so much growth with Patrick Williams with taking those open shots, right? Confidently, being aggressive on defense. There were times in this game, now again, this was because the Bulls roster was limited, that they did run the offense through Patrick Williams.
Yeah.
To see that type of growth, it's in what would he return with 18 games? Have you played 18 games over the course of this season?
Yeah.
Not counting the play. Great to see from Patrick Williams. Patrick Williams, again, he may not hit those Kawhi comparisons some people have for him, but Patrick Williams is going to develop to a hell of a player, a hell of a basketball player, and the sky's the limit for Patrick Williams. Ayo Dosunmu, a revelation in Ayo Dosunmu. Yes, he hit a rookie wall, but what he meant for this Bulls team, the fact that he was able to earn minutes this season, revelation. Yeah. What Lonzo and Zach and DeMar looked like when all three of those guys were going hard. Amazing. Keep in mind, we never got to see Lonzo ball with Vooch once Vooch did kind of get out of the slump.
Yeah.
So much to look at this team and easily say, hey, there's a lot of improvement to do within that's going to happen naturally within just the development of these players over the course of the season and health. But we also have a front office that is going to get creative with using their cap. They have a mid-level exception. They have a trade exception. They have expiring contracts. We've already seen what they've done and how they get creative with signing trades. AK and Eversley probably already have a blueprint of a plan, and that's going to start the day one of the NBA draft. And we're going to see that carry throughout the free agency. And I can't wait to see what their plan is.
They're probably on the phone right now.
Oh, bro, if they're not on the phone right now, believe me, they have their call scheduled the day they're able to start making, the day that the NBA finals are over with. If they can't start making calls till then, best believe they on the phone.
You know,
they on the phone. Yeah,
they
already got hit. They already got hit already got hit with tampering once. But, you know.
Hey, look, tamper better this time, AK. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, like, even with that being said, like, you announced it, had they waited 10 minutes to announce it.
Nah, yeah, it was a little quick. It
was 1 minute into free agency, bro. And the only because I was watching the free agency. Keep in mind, I had started Chicago Bulls Central, new channel. Then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch this. I can't wait. 1 minute into free agency, I'm like, oh, I gotta go record a video. They just announced Alonzo Ball signing trade.
Hey,
come on.
I was on live. I literally started it up, and it was just like, hey man, we trying to see what they. Hey, great job, AK. He got that one done.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think that's the biggest difference in going into next season too, right? Like, Garpax was the king of run it back. Jimmy and Derek and all of them boys, when they needed shooting help, hey man, run it back.
We're gonna throw Rip Hamilton at
we got Rip.
Yeah.
Oh, what? No, we need a better shooter. Oh, okay. What'd you go get? Ronnie Brewer.
Oh, well, that was before Rip, but then it was, hey, we need shooting. We're gonna trade. We're gonna trade. What was his name? Kyle. What was his name?
Kyle Korver.
Kyle Korver. We need more shooting. Let's trade Kyle Korver. Oh, Kyle Korver went to Atlanta, became a starter and averaged double figures. What?
Hey. Korver said Thibs hated him.
Bro.
Korver said, that's on the coach. I can't be mad at that. Hey, listen, at a minimum, they got you a shooter. Thibs hated that man.
I don't know why, man. I love Kyle Korver. But listen, this and I know Bulls fans got frustrated. They want to see a change with Billy Donovan. It's not going to happen. This team, I'm really excited about what this team is gonna be looking like at opening preseason. And I think a lot of Bulls fans are going to be excited too all said and done, what this team looks like going into next season.
I think we all gonna love it, man. I'm gonna tell you this right now. First off, shout out to y'all in the chat, C Red Nation, for welcoming us over here on Locked On Bulls. This has been a heck of a season, and I've had a lot of fun. For the first time in like 6 years, I've had a lot of fun watching my Chicago Bulls this year. Shout out to the Bulls.
You should have a lot of fun because you have the worst take in all of Bulls media.
Hey, I am the dumbest Chicago Bulls fan in all of sports media, man. So let's go. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Man, listen, bro. Y'all gonna lay off my coals. I'm telling y'all right now. Listen.
Hey, I love that they coming at me with so much spiciness, bro. Hey, but he said, what he say? He said, hey, we need more Haize and less Pat, like almost none.
Y'all gonna lay off my coals, man. Y'all gonna lay off my guy, man. Y'all gonna lay off my guy.
Hey, y'all know I rock with it, man. It is what it is, man. Yeah, I'm a roll with the punches no matter what. I love my team, man. I'm gonna be here. Y'all can't get rid of me. Just get used to the face. I might change the glasses.
Yeah, you gotta get some red glasses, bro. You gotta get some red glasses,
bro. Now the blue ones I got is the Bulls glasses.
Oh, that's the
Zenny joints that the Bulls got, man.
Okay,
but I was like, you could have came out with some red for like C red, but I'm gonna get some red. I think they make these in red, so I might get some red ones for next season. We'll get it together, man. It's gonna be a crazy dynamic next season. Y'all don't even know yet.
Fam. We already some things are gonna change, some things are gonna stay the same. It was never meant to make a lot of changes coming in mid-season. But the way that it's going to be more reflective of us and our personalities. We came in, we kept it pretty much the same with adding our own flair to it. But Locked On Bulls, the sky's the limit, and we gonna run this thing. You're gonna see more one-off content during the season next year too. We're gonna turn this into a platform. The way that, and keep in mind, I've gotten some comments and some things of why don't we do more breaking news. Keep in mind, we're part of a network. It's kind of hard with the way that we have to run this channel to be the latest breaking news. But we're gonna figure it out, and we're gonna continue to be and aim to be the number one Bulls podcast around. So,
but we need y'all help, man. So if y'all listening to this on podcast form, give us that 5-star review, brother. Leave that comment. Be like, yo, Pat and Haize, y'all my guys. We need that mug in the bottom, man, because that gets us up in the search. Also, comment on the video, like the video, all that good stuff, man. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah, for sure. Hit the like button, subscribe button, get the notification. P Kid was in the comments. Shout out to you. I want to make sure to shout out P Kid. That's family there. Shout out to everyone in the chat at that. Brandon L. Jet, Julia, Darius Wiggins, Corey. I know I'm missing some people off. Josh Simmons, who's one of the biggest supporters, I think, of both of our channels. Shout out to all you guys for your support on this last live stream of the season, last game of the season. But that's it for us. Pat, give them the social media, man. Let's get up out of here.
Man, y'all can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. That's at PATTHEDESIGNER. Yes, I did go to public school. They taught me how to spell. Also, you can follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You thought it was some water in that thing, didn't you?
I did. I really did.
Wasn't nothing in there. You look so disappointed.
Not a damn thing.
Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls, man, for the latest updates and Bulls content.
And you can follow me at CEO Haize, at CEO HAIZE. Make sure you hit that mailbag because we will be diving into that, especially over the course of the offseason. That is our time to really connect with you guys a little bit more than what we have been able to during the playoffs and things like that. So make sure you connect with us that way as well because we love to hear from you. We got some voicemails that we're going to dive into as we head into doing more the offseason type content. The number to do that is 331-979-1369. And that is it. This has been JV. We signing out for this season, but we are not going away during the offseason. We'll see you lovely and beautiful people tomorrow. Peace out.
I think we make varsity next year.
I mean, yeah, we got to, right?
Peace out.
Shout out to Jim.